traditional and cultural way of taking you back to the track. However, the fact remains that when you are dealing with them, you have to be extremely careful. And it is for this reason that I decided to write their presentation or my presentation of them, of who they are. So what I'm going to do right now is to read the presentation very carefully, because even a grammatical error can be problematic. This having been said, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my profound honor to invite to the floor a leader whose presence elevates this gathering not only by the weight of his title, but by the depth of his service to his people, to Ghana, and to Africa as a whole. In many parts of our continent, and especially in Ghana, chieftaincy is not merely an institution. It is the living soul of community, identity, and continuity. It embodies wisdom, guardianship, and the sacred trust between a people and their history. To introduce a paramount chief, therefore, is to acknowledge a custodian of culture, a steward of harmony, and a bearer of responsibilities that transcend generations. Today, we are deeply privileged to welcome His Royal Highness Naba Augea Lebna Raymond Alafia Abilba, the paramount chief of Bolgatanga, a historic and vibrant community in Ghana's Upper East region, close to the border with Burkina Faso. Installed as paramount chief in May 2015, His Royal Highness brings to traditional leadership not only the ancestral legitimacy of his office, but also a remarkable professional journey that spans continents. His academic pedigree is equally exemplary. He is a lawyer from the University of Sydney. Yet beyond these credentials, what truly defines him is his unwavering commitment to good governance, institutional reform, and sustainable development in Africa, with a passionate focus on education, health, and economic empowerment. Your Royal Highness, we are honored, deeply honored, to welcome you among us today. Your wisdom, your experience, and your voice enrich this seminar in ways that go far beyond the program. I was deeply honored to know you through my brother. And on this note, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming His Royal Highness Naba Aogeya Lebna Raymond Alafia Abilba, Paramount Chief of Bolgatanga in Ghana. 1 minute. And I'm honored to have your company as I introduce my brother, my friend, and my spiritual leader. A leader whose influence reaches far beyond the pulpit, touching communities, shaping values, and helping to build the moral foundations upon which justice and human dignity must stand. Across Africa, the role of faith leaders remains pivotal. They are often the first to comfort the afflicted, the first to guide communities, and the first to speak truth in moments when silence would cost lives. In a seminar devoted to strengthening legal reform, legal frameworks, and enhancing access to justice for women, it is essential to recognize the voices of those who shape the ethical landscape in which our laws must operate. For without moral courage, even the best laws risk remaining words on paper. I'm privileged to welcome Bishop Dr. Elibariki Mbando, a respected clergyman whose ministry is rooted in service, compassion, and transformative leadership. As a senior pastor and leader at Moria House of Prayer Church here in Arusha, a spiritual home to many and a center of guidance for individuals and families seeking hope and direction. He is also the general overseer of Cross Discipleship Ministries International, an institution whose reach extends across communities and borders, nurturing faith, mentoring, and social responsibility. In the context of our seminar, his presence underscores a crucial truth: the pursuit of justice for women in Africa requires legal reform. Yes, but it also requires moral leadership, community transformation, and the active involvement of faith institutions. True law can protect, but values inspire. Policies can guide, but conscience compels. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming Bishop Dr. Elibariki Mbando, a shepherd of faith, a voice of integrity, and a steadfast advocate for dignity and justice in our communities. I now have the honor to give the floor to His Royal Highness. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Professor, and thank you, delegates. The moment has arrived. I didn't think it would come I formally want to acknowledge our special invited guests, our excellencies. I would formally want to acknowledge our special guests, our excellencies, attendees, and specifically to thank the Institute for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. You can imagine how daunting it is to be stuck in a room full of lawyers, very, very clever lawyers. As a chief, pretty much nothing really intimidates you. But to know you're going to address a room full of academics, very, very smart, clever people, that is intimidating. But nonetheless, I'm grateful for the opportunity to share this platform with you. As Prof is fond of saying, without much further ado, we'll get started. My name is Raymond Alafia Abelba. I also have a skin name. When you are enskinned as a chief, you adopt a skin name. The skin name can indicate who you are, whether you are passionate about anything. You could want to be called a tigress. Well, not that I would like to be called a tigress. My skin name is Naba Awogia Lebna Raymond Alafia Abelba. That implies I have assumed my great-grandfather's reincarnation. So I have reincarnated as Naba Awogia Lebna. And that is what it means. I'm the paramount chief of Bolgatanga. Bolgatanga is in the north of Ghana. I see Excellency nodding his head. You may not have to worry. We don't like fighting. Bolgatanga is in the north of Ghana. It's the capital town of the Upper East region. I'm just waiting for some assistance to guide me. Yes. And I was enskinned on the 15th of May, 2015 as the Bolganaba. I was 20 odd years when my tribe sent me to Australia on a scholarship to study law. I have qualifications in business and qualifications in law. I did my undergraduate and LLM program at Sydney University. I'm admitted to practice law in Australia, in the state of New South Wales and the Australian Capital Territory. I haven't joined the bar in Ghana or anywhere else. Now, if we look through that map, you can see to the north where it says brief background. That is headed towards Burkina Faso. And to the east, I think, is Benin and Togo. And to the west is Ivory Coast. My community is pretty much near Burkina Faso. It's the biggest town in the Upper East region to the north. Chieftaincy in Ghana is guaranteed by the Constitution. I would like you to take a few minutes to read what it says. Article 277 means, chief means a person. So there's a lot of hope for my daughters to be the next chiefs. Typically, we have never had a chief, a female chief. But by this definition, there's hope for my daughters. Chief means a person who, hailing from the appropriate family and lineage, has been validly nominated, elected, or selected, and installed, skinned, or installed as a chief or queen mother in accordance with the relevant customary law and usage. You note from the definition, it says elected, selected, and installed, and skinned, or installed. Down south, the Ashanti tribe, for example, they install. Their chiefs sit on stools. We in the north, we enskin. The chiefs in the north, where I hail from, we sit on skins. Typically cow skins. Now, from that list, constitutionally defines the category of chiefs in Ghana. We start at number 5. That's the lowest form of chief with the lowest form of influence. Other chiefs, we call them in our tribe Kambon Naba. Kambon Naba, so 5 and 4 are Kambon Nabas. They are lesser chiefs. Number 3 is the subdivisional chiefs, and they typically handle small areas of the community. Number 2 is divisional chiefs. They tend to handle bigger villages. And then the topmost chief is the paramount chief. I sit at number 1. Chieftaincy in the north, in fact, throughout Ghana, is inherited through the family structure. You can attempt to, but you're not supposed to. You can't buy it through influence. Your parents, your father, typically in our clan, your father must have been a chief. His father, your great-grandfather, you must prove your lineage. So these are examples of immediate past paramount chiefs of Bolgatanga. The full name of the community is Bolgatanga, but you can shorten it to Bolga. Most people shorten it to Bolga. The gentleman looking at us in that picture is my immediate direct father. I inherited the red face that he's wearing from him. The red face indicates you are a chief. Without it, that's it. So you notice that over the last 4 days, I haven't worn the red face. But today, I need to prove that I am the chief of Bolgatanga. I have got a red face. That is my late dad with the former president of Ghana. I think my excellencies would know them. That's Jerry John Rawlings. He ruled Ghana from 1992. Abugo, help me. 1992 to 2000, right? Yes. So exactly. You did a good job. Yeah, the U.S. did a good job. I think that period they sent Clinton, yes, to come over and convince him. He transformed from an army general, an army leader, my apologies, a flight lieutenant who took over the country through a coup. And for over 20 years, ruled the country till the U.S. and the allies and Europeans prevailed upon him to take the country to democratic rule. And that is what we have currently, since 1992. That is yours truly with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He is the immediate past president of Ghana. What we were talking about, I can't remember. We're obviously discussing strengthening legal frameworks and access to justice for women in Africa. That is what we're discussing. Yes. I will. Move on. And again, as yours truly, no, back, please. That's moi with the current president of the Republic of Ghana. That is John Dramani Mahama. And it would surprise you, or it shouldn't surprise you, what we were talking about. How to provide access and justice to women, children, and the marginalized. Now that's a picture of my grandfather, not my great-grandfather, the man in the white with the flowing smoke, wearing the red face, waiting his turn to say hello to Her Majesty the Queen. Yes. What I'm trying to do here is basically to establish where we get our power from, our strength, and our ability to perhaps influence society. Yes. So it's a short video of Her Majesty when she came to Ghana to meet some of the paramount chiefs. Is there no volume? It's muted. I will. The reverse. Okay. Okay. La no anala. But still dragging the lip for it. In 1961, Her Majesty the Queen came to Ghana, selected paramount chiefs. I think this is the start of the video as well. She was accompanied by the then president of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Accompanied by President Nkrumah, visited Tamale. 140 chiefs and 27 paramount chiefs lent brilliant Ghanaian color to the gathering on the police parade ground in readiness for the Durbar, by which Tamale, capital of northern Ghana, marked Her Majesty's presence. In this part of the country, the influence of the central government is less strong than in Accra, and the chiefs jealously guard their privileges, probably looking back with regret on the past, not so very long ago, when each wielded supreme authority over his own tribe.
That is my grandfather.
Probably looking back with regret on the past, not so very long ago, when each wielded supreme authority over his own tribe.
They paused it so I could show each and every one my grandfather wearing the red face. Yes. Oh, let's move on. But move on. Let's move on to the next. We haven't got all day. Not only did we get a visit from the Queen, 16 years later, we got a visit from his son, then Prince Charles. That is our palace in Bolgatanga. The smocks he's wearing was given to him by us, the community members, through the chief. So that's him in our palace, sitting next to the British flag. Outside our house, our palace, and my old boy shaking their hands. So we have a long history with royalty, not just African royalty, British royalty. And that is King Charles now, sitting in the palace. My dad at the back in the red face. My mom sitting next to my dad. And the chief linguist and the court surrounding the then prince. And this goes to show that we are not as misogynistic as people think. That's my mom taking part in deliberations involving a royal from another area. There's still hope for us. There's a lot of work to be done. That's King Charles now, being given assorted gifts. My mom in the back there, you can see her grayish outfit, and my dad in the colorful smock, standing supervising the gifts were given to King Charles. In a video. This is when he arrived, dressed in his young naval outfit, before we made him the king of Ghana and gave him the outfit. He was dressed like the naval officer that he is. And that is again at our palace. I will move on. No, back. The good work we do as the royals of Bolgatanga brings various visitors. I'm pretty sure our excellencies have recognized Kofi Annan and his wife, who also came to visit us. The late Kofi Annan, his wife, and my dad and the entourage giving him gifts as well. Yes. So we've established the royalty, we've established the kingship. What do? We in the royal family have a program called the Girl Child Educational Program, which my dad initiated and has been running for the last 20, 30 years till he passed on. I've pretty much taken it on. But Ghana is predominantly a male-dominated or male-influenced society. So these are some of the challenges we faced. We faced predominantly a male indigenous council. All my advisors right now, unfortunately, are males. But that's going to change since coming to this program. This red face wasn't fitting that well. When I put it on today, it fit perfectly. My head, my brain is expanding. I've picked up so much. Inadequacies in catching up with the formal legal requirements. The chiefs, the traditional leaders are not trained in law. I have a little bit of training, but it's still not enough. And that is why I'm here, to pick up some more. And I'm so glad what I've come to learn here is going to help the good people of Bolgatanga and Ghana for that matter. Thank you so much for the knowledge you've imparted to the chief of Bolgatanga. Undermining traditional leaders and their directives by some subjects. Abugo, help me out. What did we mean by that?
We thought to say that sometimes the directives by the chief are not abided by the subjects.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Apuku, sorry, Peter. Apuku is a traditional name. Peter is his formal name. Peter is my son. Peter, as a subject of the community, must do what I say. But so that's why I defer to him when we are talking. He helped me put this program together. Yes. Some negative political influence. Abugo, again, kindly help me out. What did we mean by that?
What we sought to also say is that there are instances that there's a conflict between what the traditional leaders will require and what the political leaders would want to also achieve. And the chief is always looking at protecting the community, and the political leader might also wants to get some bit of the community under his control. So there's that clash between the two forces within the community sector.
Thank you, Peter. The last point, lack of funding. The chief does not have standing fund, operates like an NGO. That is something I wanted to discuss much later. It basically means we typically go hand in cap, begging for funds. Today, no cap. We won't beg. But typically the chief has programs. They have ideas they want to do to assist the community. But of course, quite similar to what His Excellency said. Without funding, you can't go much further. So we typically go around and ask for funds, beg for funds to assist in some of the programs we want to implement. These are schools named after us. We facilitated the building of the schools. We provided land, we gave government advice. Government basically put up the structures and named them after us. So we have Abilba number 1, Abilba number 2 basic school, Awogia. Awogia is my great-grandfather. Adabasi is my great-great-grandfather. So far, what we have done in the community is to facilitate building 4 schools, which we help keep running. So that was education, and now we are talking about health, some of the things we've done. We've facilitated the establishment of health facilities. We've got a few CHIP compounds that we've helped build. CHIP compounds are community health improvement programs. So they are manned skeletally by 1 or 2 nurses to provide health care to distant communities away from Bolgatanga. So we've done that. I think one of the presenters, I think that was Prof, said that FGM is, I think, on the rise again in Nigeria. Fortunately for us, for the good work that my old man did, the last Bolga number, we've eradicated FGM totally from Bolga. Those news headlines over there show, you can go and read them. But the immediate chief, or the last chief, worked with the doctor, and they won an award in New York for eradication of FGM. So as you can see, the last one says, Ghanaian doctor receives UN award. Bolgatanga Upper East, a private medical practitioner based in Bolgatanga, Dr. Kwesi Odoi Ajako, has been awarded the United Nations Population Award for the year 2002 in the individual category. He was formally presented with the award in the United States of America in June. The paramount chief of the Bolgatanga traditional area, Naba Martin Abilba III, attended the ceremony at the invitation of the United Nations Fund for Population Agency. What that doesn't quite say is my dad was equally a recipient of an award. So that is, when it comes to the health section, what we've been doing. Advocacy and sensitization. So we've got the Bolgatanga girl-child education programs. We use that to educate the community. We also do festivals where we use the occasion. A popular festival is called Adakoya, which means let's give thanks and praise to our ancestors and the Almighty for providing us with a good harvest. So we use those occasions to promote women and girls' welfare. In my court, and with all due respect to all judges and magistrates in attendance, with the greatest respect, in my court, subject to what my counselors say, I'm the final authority on what says or what goes. So there's still a lot of hope for girl child in my court, especially what I've picked up these last few days here. In fact, I feel like saying I'm traumatized. I can't believe that in this age, man can be so wicked to the better half of this life, and also to children. There's a lot of work for us to do, a lot. We've spoken about the FGM. Another point that we have introduced and we are monitoring is abolition of early girl-child marriages. In my community, nobody should be married till they are 18. We go to vote when we're 18. We can drink when we're 18. So why should we marry before that? So 18 is going to be the law I would be imposing in my community. Because some of the parents give their girl child away for funding. And that's our next point. There's the dowry for marriage is 4 cattle to be given to the parents of the bride. So when the girl is 15, 16, they are quick to give her away, her hand in marriage, to collect the 4 cows. So I'm advocating for the 4 cattle to reduce to 2 cattle. That way, they don't see her as an asset. They don't see her as 4 cows. Eventually, it should even be done away with, because like I said, I've got 6 children. 4 of them are girls. Traditionally, by our system, I'm a rich man. But there's no way I would give any of my daughters away for 100 cattle till they are ready. Nothing. I don't want anything. They should just be happy. So why go and collect 2 or 4 cattle for your daughter's hand in marriage? Eventually, we're doing away with it. But of course, step by step. We work a lot with the institutions, the Ghana Education Service, Ghana Health Service, Ghana Police Service, social welfare. They come to us. They come, or sometimes, for want of a better word, the victims come. They may send their parents. They want you to interfere. They want you to see if you can intercede on their behalf. They've done something wrong. These days, we don't interfere with the law. Rape. It's a criminal offense. Previously, we handled rape. We'll intercede, we'll beg, we'll try and handle it in-house. Tell the victim to forgive. We've changed. Those days are gone. You're involved in rape, the law must take its course. So everybody knows that now, especially the last few years that I've been on the skin. These are lepori. As part of our educational programs for the community, we dealt with a former student of Abilba number 1 who attended Abilba number 1, went out, became a successful pastor. If you Google him in Ghana, he's probably within the top 5 of pastors in Ghana. We interacted with him. He was a former student when he was a kid. he came and renovated the whole school for us. Those people you're seeing there are stakeholders and divisional chiefs. And these are divisional chiefs. And then the stakeholders. And that was the day we were opening the school. This is after the renovation of the school. As you can see, the children look happy, nice and neat. And that is what we want to do for the rest of the schools in the community. Ghana's approach to handling gender-based violence. Just before we jumped on a plane and came to Arusha, just before, a tenant in a code-share house took a video of a husband abusing his wife simply because he came home and asked for sex and she said no. So it went viral, the video, and the police and the gender ministry went and arrested him. But the interesting thing was, when they went to arrest the perpetrator, the victim ran away. So for a good 3 to 4 days, the police were looking for the victim, and she was scared. She was concerned that she would be in trouble. The victim was so concerned that the government had to put out a woman hunt, not a man hunt, a woman hunt for her. Eventually, she was found, she was counseled, funds were raised for her, and I think the husband is waiting to be processed in court. But the point I'm also trying to make is that we have a lot of work to do to educate our community. You shouldn't be a victim twice. You've been beaten by your husband, somebody's coming to help you, but out of fear, you run away. Video just before we came, I think the video has been taken down, but it's still on. If you search, you still find it on social media. There was a young lady assaulting a young man. It was very bad. She removed her shoe and kept whacking him. And there was a lot of young men sitting down. So it runs both ways. While we are advocating for a society where we can eradicate gender-based violence, we frequently, or not frequently, occasionally come across things like this. Anyway, in conclusion, these are our recommendations. Collaboration with traditional leaders on the eradication of inimical customary practices perpetuating GBV. I have 13 divisional chiefs under me. Each and every divisional chief would superintend a village with a population of about 20,000 to 30,000. They all report to me. So I would be finding clever ways to meet with them to find out how we can sensitize them on this particular area. Prosecution of complicit traditional leaders and so-called powerful people, as well as other perpetrators as scapegoats. I think in an earlier submission, Peter stood here and made the claim that chiefs are all so powerful. They are literally above the law. I didn't sanction that statement. And on a careful analysis of it, chiefs are not a law unto themselves. Chiefs have sold land to one land or multiple lands to multiple people. Every day they are being arraigned in court. So chiefs are not a law unto themselves. We have a certain level of influence, but that influence is dwindling. The ability to walk into a judge's office and say, oh, listen, I'm the chief of so-and-so. These are my people. Can we withdraw the matter and take it back to the palace to resolve? Those days are gone. The judge will tell you to go home. He's not going to agree, or she is not going to agree. Developing preventative and early warning systems as means of quick intervention mechanisms. I think Dr. Owezi had a show, had a play act where we went through, I think it was yesterday, and she wanted to know what we took out from that role play. And I think yesterday I tried to make the point that the lady, after 5 children with her husband, 15 years in the marriage, did not see signs that her husband was a possible abuser. Those are the early warning signs we need to inform communities about, inform victims about, to look out for those early warning systems. You don't wait till you're trapped, till you feel trapped, till it's too late. After 5 children, what were you looking at? After 15 years, there were no signs. The husband just got up one day and became a monster. No, these things have an early way of warning you. And we must start to advertise, sensitize, let the community look out for these signs. That way, they say, a stitch in time saves 9. Establishing support groups within the community and social settings. I think here we're trying to talk about the vulnerable joining support groups, reaching out to, what do they call them? Known and anonymous social media groups. Reaching out, letting people know that yesterday you felt so uncomfortable. I got home, my husband was drunk, he had about 6 people, the house was a mess. Somebody might be able to give you advice. Oh, my husband used to do the same thing. One day he came and there was no dinner. I packed my bags and left the house for he and his friends. You might learn something from that. You might learn something from that. So, the balako, marketing geko. Okay. So, that is my submission. I don't want to take all day telling you about my kingdom and its problems, but I can tell you one thing I've learned in the last few days. There's a lot to be done. I tell Peter all the time, how come when there's coronavirus, when there's an issue, we can change the society? Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm sure there are going to be so many questions, but we will note the questions and wait until our bishop ends his presentation so that we open the question and answers session. Bishop Mbando, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Greetings, guys. I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much, my brother, my friend, Professor Matthias. I'm grateful to have this opportunity to share in this highest platform in our region, in our continent. My name is Bishop Dr. Elibariki Mbando, born from Chaga tribe here, near Kilimanjaro. I'm a pastor. My brother who present before me, thank you very much. Yes, he taught me how to honor other people's values. You know, sometimes we do have intolerance to honor other people's values. I've never valued traditions like today. I was feeling myself as if I'm standing or sitting behind the king. And I respect that. You know, all of these conflicts and violence comes from when people fail to honor other people's values. So thank you very much, my brother. I'm here to present the same topic which my brother presented, the role of traditional and religion leaders in promoting gender equality. And in my portion is to speak on balancing culture, religion, and rights. So I'll give my short introduction, then I'll go to my presentation. So first of all, I want to thank again my gratitude to Professor Matthias and the staffs of AIIL, just to allow me to speak and learn in this great, skilled, and well-informed people. You guys, you are unique. You are blessed, maybe, because that's my language as a pastor. I look at your faces. I was very much touched by my mom here. Thank you. I respect you from within. And also, my gratitude to my beloved wife, Rouse, and the big family of Mbando on how they shaped me. You know, sometimes you do, I don't judge those people who are not married, who have no family, but a family contributes a lot to someone who says he values or she values human rights. So my wife and my children, I do have 8 children. I've got 4 boys and 4 girls, and I've got 4 grandsons, 3 grandsons and 1 granddaughter. Yeah. One of them, she's here, my daughter, Delight. She's come with me. She's doing law. She's a lawyer. So I'm grateful that I've got this opportunity. And finally, I want to thank my Tanzanian government. For sure, I've been thinking about other governments on how they value women's rights. For us in Tanzania, I'm an historian, even though I didn't go deeper in that, but our government, Tanzanian government, has put a lot of efforts on how to prioritize women's rights. And if you can study a little bit about Tanzania, forget about what happened recently. That is not Tanzanian. It's not, for sure. But since our first president, you can see he was accompanied by a lot of women, and also he put women in power in those times. And again, the second president, Alassane Mwinyi, the other presidents, Benjamin Mkapa, Kikwete was the most weird, an Iron Man, John Pombe Magufuli, but he put a woman to be his deputy, who is our president now. So Tanzanian, we are blessed. So thank you very much for my government, and also put a lot of laws and policies on how to protect baby girls and women. I grew up in a village. I was born in Mwanza. I grew up in Kilimanjaro. I work as a pastor for more than 20 years in the Maasai places, in Maasai land, which women and children, the women and children rights are very bad. So, but you can see the law and the government is still up to the grassroots just to help the women. So I'm grateful to be a Tanzanian. Just to strengthen legal framework and the access to justice for women in Africa has got a lot of, where can I have? I do have very few slides here. The proportion of tradition and religion and women's rights in our society. Bringing new knowledge from the experience we do have. That's mean which we have already done before. Making a bridge that will help women to access their rights. This is to put the bridge to reach out the women, to teach all the community members to know their responsibility on how to protect women's rights. You know, most of other people, they don't understand how to protect women's rights. So they violate it because sometimes they don't understand. Strengthen legal framework that will help to facilitate the rights and care for women, and to join dots that will help women to understand their rights and fight for them. Brethren, here, most of the women, they lose their rights because they don't know how to access them. And even the people around them, they don't know how to access them. I was very happy to my professor when he was trying to display on how other judges and other people how they treat women when they are victimized by or violated from their families or from their workplace. So teaching, bring together the knowledge you have to the people, educating them, having time to teach them on how to access their rights. Women's rights in Africa, women and children rights, women's rights in Africa. Women and children are the part of society that miss their rights than others in African society. We agree children and the women, they are the least. Men and the elderly people, at least they can have a say, but the women and children, they miss their rights. Absence of accuracy understanding from legal system, understanding from legal system and the guidance contributes suffering and abusive life to many women in Africa. Women have as the same rights and deserve to be heard, honored, and developed, and given opportunities in our societies. Here I can go in the beginning. I am a Christian. In the beginning, God created male and female. You can deny if you don't believe the Bible, but there is a male and female in the world. So you see male and female. And it says in the beginning, God created male and female. And you see, he gave them, he created, if you start those scriptures, God said by himself that let us create men for our own image, to have dominion over all creation. So issue of possessing or anything about being a person to a woman was there immediately from the beginning before God created women, created a human being. So he created male and female to have power, to have dominion. And I was teaching one day in Australia to some small couple and told them, you know, it is like God created the world, the earth, and gave it to men. And then he gave the key of the world to women. You know, I know you guys, you can agree with me. Wherever there's no woman, there's no joy, there's no happiness, there's no, you see, the house without women, I don't know how it will become. Male, they're ugly, they... When we grow up, our hair goes away, like my professor there. But I do have Jaji, Madam Professor from Nigeria. She's a professor, studied a lot, but she had got all her hair on top. So, so I'm sure God created male and women together to nourish the creation. So it was in the plan of God since the beginning. Now, because of maybe traditions, interpretations, there is a lot of religion leaders who misuse that freedom, and then they destroy the women's rights. Women balance is needed in our churches, mosque, political leaders, positions, and in other professions. When I'm talking about other professions, in my experience, most of the women who are in power, they're the one who, I can say, torments a lot other women. Most of the things which happen to women surrounds me, they complain more to the women who are in power. Maybe a nurse, a doctor, a policeman. You know, my wife, while she is driving, she said, I don't want to meet a police woman. I don't like her. I don't like them. Why they abusive, they talk, they speak. But when you meet a man, I don't know, they are attracted because my wife is very beautiful. But she doesn't have many problems with men. But what I'm saying here, other professionals, they do have to see the women's rights and fight for that, for them. Former and current efforts. Great efforts have been made, many laws are existing, but still we have got big role to play. Now as a religion and a religion and traditional leaders in our African community, we have to make more efforts building on the top of what have been done before. Laziness and greedy of those who in leadership positions in our society have caused African women to continue to suffer even more. Rights are defended, rights are fought for, and even rights are protected. And this is the role of those who are in power or in leadership. The role of religion and leadership in promoting women rights. Our religion and tradition should not be the cause of women suffering in Africa. You see a woman maybe suffer and then they say, you know, this is the scripture. The scripture says this. Before I just went to study theology and my PhD, I did it in community development. And I'm grateful to God for that because I learned more which is connecting faith and normal life. You know, when we are Christian or Muslims or whatever, we don't become super being. We remain the same, and we operate in the same community. Religious beliefs and customaries, laws and policies should not be a reason to reject women's rights in our society. The main goal of religion is to improve humanity that helps people to live in peace with each other and God. All religious scriptures or texts teaches people to do good to their fellows, and those good should be done to their fellow human being on behalf of God. Women are human beings too. Most of religious traditions and customs were misappropriated and misused to destroy women's rights and dignity. I don't repeat this. I know you guys, you have gone beyond me. Custom, cultures, and religion. Our customs, culture, and religion and traditions of Africa have begun a temporary and indifference in gender and depriving freedom and the rights of women for years. You can agree with me, most of the people, especially in our community, even now in Arusha, something is happening to circumcision. I've got my few church members running away from their villages because the traditions, they are now in a circumcision season. So they ran away because they don't want to work, to do what they want them to do. And now the government is trying to protect them, but still the pressure is very big and the people are moving away, you see, and I'm helping one. And you can imagine, he's an head teacher of a school, but he's escaping the violence from the place where he lives. So it's something which is still there. And the church and the government, we are still doing and helping those people. I didn't come here with my helper, like my brother. He could help me, so don't mind about it. I forgot the schools for some times. Many educational efforts, declarations, and campaigns have been made, including laws that protects women's rights, but still implementation is a challenge. Maputo Protocol of 2000, which was done in 2005, and African Charter is the evidence. What should be done? We leaders, activities, we must see the problem in four sides without favoring and appealing to one side. Here I can speak a little bit about women. When we fought for women's rights, sometimes we go beyond, and even we take away the men's right or the other party's rights. Then by doing that, we destroy, because now when you've honored someone and misuse or abuse one side, you create a gap. And eventually, this person, when he's come to have chance, will pay it back. So it is we have to be very careful and to deal with these problems by looking for all four sides. I've met women who are crazy. They don't want to listen. They don't want to understand. Because it is their rights. They do what they can do just to abuse others, especially men. And nowadays, we have done a very good job to protect a baby girl, but now there is a baby boy who is in danger, maybe I can say now more than a baby girl. So we have to be very careful to balance and to deal with the problem by looking at all the areas. We must be patient and tolerating other groups while educating them to understand what we understand. We must take a step with love. We have to love them. We have to love the people who does not understand what we are doing, and then accept the criticism from other and give them time to learn. We should teach and give a chance to women to wake up and fight for their rights and themselves. Women remains babies when we don't waken them up. This is another problem. Most of the women, because they know their rights is there, they can, I don't need a lawyer, I'll not pay a lawyer. If you touch me, I'll go to a law firm, and then there will be people who will fight for me. So they remain babies. They don't wake up and fight for their own rights. Making any possible effort to engage men in this battle. We forgot men in this battle. And you see, most of the people who abuse women are men. So if we engage them in this, we can help we can help to strengthen this framework to access women's rights. A woman's wake-up call. Women with position of authority are almost everywhere in our societies. Women in church, women in the mosque, women in community leadership, women in the court and law firm, women in the police and army, women in the hospital, women in the market and in the business, even in the international business. So I found out when women obtained power, they forgot that they were weak. Someone fought for them. So these are waking up call for women to support other women, so that they may not forget that they were down there, and when you see, that's a nature of human being. Even men, when they are in power, they forgot. But now more to the women. Women, when they have power, they forgot so easily more than men. In our society, most of the marriages which breaks is the women who have power. When men have power, they may stay still in a family. But when women, they've got power, they get power, they leave their family. They don't tolerate more. So it's a challenge. So we have to learn and even to teach and to remind them that they have to tolerate. When you have power, when you have money, it is very hard for you to tolerate maybe thirsty or for you lack of food. So it's a human being, it's a nature. But we have to teach them and remind them. Then when you are in power, please tolerate. Remain humble. Try to help other people to understand what you understand. My conclusion, to raise up our voice more loudly, not to being ashamed to speak on behalf of a vulnerable woman, to educate women about their rights, standing on the gap when we are needed in all time, to educate our society the importance of honoring women's rights, strengthen legal systems that provides and protects women's rights in our communities, to cooperate with people of all walk of life, regardless of their differences or conflicts that may hinder our move, to encourage and showing concerning to what others are doing without criticizing them and even attacking those groups in any way, tolerating and be patient. Tolerance and patience is needed, joining hands and speak one language to promote women's rights. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bishop. This is time now for questions, comments even, and answers from the presenters. We will take in total about 20 minutes, okay? And I would beg that please brief, try to be brief. Starting here.
Bonjour à tous. Je remercie donc nos éminents communicateurs de cette session, Sa Majesté donc le chef de Bolgatanga, ainsi que le bishop. Et également merci à Peter pour l'assistance apportée donc à Sa Majesté lors de sa présentation. Bien évidemment, j'ai très apprécié les différents enseignements que nous avons reçus, les partages d'expériences sur l'action au quotidien menée donc par ces notabilités pour faire avancer la situation des filles et des femmes au sein de nos sociétés. J'ai juste une question à adresser à Sa Majesté. Je voudrais savoir, on l'a vu, la chefferie de Bolgatanga est un exemple qui mérite donc d'être vulgarisé auprès donc de bien de sociétés, tant au Ghana qu'à l'extérieur, parce que je sais que le contexte au Burkina Faso il est similaire à celui du Ghana. Les chefs traditionnels ne se portent pas toujours comme des acteurs de changement d'un point de vue de l'évolution de la situation de la femme. Donc certains encore continuent de s'appuyer sur des croyances traditionnelles, coutumières, pour maintenir les femmes dans une position de subordination, d'infériorité au sein donc de nos communautés, surtout les communautés rurales. Donc je voudrais savoir, est-ce qu'il y a une synergie d'action au sein donc des différentes chefferies au Ghana sur ces questions pour faire avancer globalement la condition de la femme au Ghana, surtout dans les milieux ruraux, au-delà donc du royaume du Bolgatanga. Merci.
Thank you all for the presentations. I have one question to the chief. This is with regard to the mechanism. They are talking. Okay. Chief, I have one question, and this is with regard to the mechanisms. I would like to know, being the prosecutor, and I've seen a lot of cases of GBV in my country, Tanzania, and prosecuting the cases is not enough. We are looking at the ways of reducing these case numbers, and I would like to know from your country perspective, how do you do to help the women detection of the signs of GBV, and what mechanisms are you employing?
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to commend the presenters for very insightful presentation. My question goes to Bishop Mbando. I would like, in Tanzania, we have various religious organizations. For example, BAKWATA for Muslims, TEC, and so on. So my question is, what do these organizations, is there a system for these organizations to meet up together and have a same voice on issues of gender-based violence? And if there is, can you give us an example of initiatives that were taken in order to prevent gender-based violence in Tanzania? Thank you.
Merci de m'avoir donné la parole. Je remercie vraiment les conférenciers qui nous ont enrichis par leur communication. Je veux simplement donner quelques observations par rapport à notre Altesse royale et les encourager dans tout ce qu'ils sont en train de faire pour la femme. Et c'est un exemple à suivre du point de vue, surtout que c'est un droit constitutionnel. Et chez nous aussi, dans notre constitution récente qu'on a eu à faire, les chefs traditionnels ont un droit. Je pense que c'est tellement important que cela peut être un bon facteur pour accompagner les femmes pour la promotion et la protection des femmes. Et même pour résoudre beaucoup de conflits. Et même pour améliorer la gouvernance même. Les traditions, elles sont très importantes. C'est le pilier de notre société. Et nous avons des traditions rétrogrades, c'est vrai, mais il y en a beaucoup de positives qu'on doit relever et sur lesquelles on doit mettre accent. Et par rapport au docteur, le docteur a relevé le fait que les femmes qui sont au pouvoir un peu, elles sont incomprises ou bien mon pouvoir commence par la famille d'abord. Et par donner l'exemple en respectant mon mari et en respectant mes enfants et en accompagnant mes enfants à être comme tels. Je suis d'accord que les femmes, nous seuls, on ne peut pas entre nous seuls résoudre le problème de la promotion et de la protection des droits de la femme. C'est quelque chose qui intéresse tout le monde. Quand on parle de femmes, on parle de filles. Quand on parle de femmes, on parle de l'épouse. Quand on parle de femme, on parle de sa mère. Donc c'est tout le monde qui est intéressé. Et c'est tout le monde qui doit accompagner la femme pour la promotion des droits des femmes. Et je m'arrête là. Je vous remercie. C'est des observations.
Two, three. We'll see. We'll see. So,
my name is Neema Ahmed. I work with the Tanzania Women Lawyers Association, and I commend the presentations and I commend African Institute for including these topics, because as we advocate for women land rights every day, religion and tradition is one of the challenges that we encounter every day. So I would like to ask His Highness, the Chief, how do we integrate the traditional justice with the, I would say, the formal system? Like if a case, somebody is aggrieved before your court, can she appeal to a formal court? But to the bishop, I would like to ask you, one of the biggest challenges I get in providing legal aid, especially in matrimonial cases, in Tanzania, you have to first go to the conciliation boards. So for women who go to the religious conciliation boards, it usually takes a very long time. There are a lot of come and go, while this woman continues to face gender-based violence. Either it is neglect or it is physical abuse. But at these religious conciliation boards, it usually takes a lot of time until they are given that certificate, which will allow commencement of matrimonial proceedings. So I would like to ask, are there any initiatives to integrate religious teachings with human rights in the light of the prevalence of GBV? We see prevalence of GBV incidents every day in the news. Are there any initiatives that are taken to integrate religious teachings with human rights? Thank you.
Well, my name is Craig Joseph. I'm from St. Augustine University. I have two questions. One goes to Bishop. We have a very famous quote from the Bible that bishops and other religious leaders for Christians do realize when it comes to marriage context. They say, what God therefore joined, let no man separate. Religious leaders, you are the ones whom most women who are going through marriage hardships, mostly they learn to your institutions. Now, I'd like to get your personal opinion as a pastor, as a bishop. What would be your opinion to a woman who is going through marriage hardship, those hardship which we believe marriage was not meant for? Yes, another question goes to His Royal Highness. Yes, it is my belief that all the development that you are taking to your community at Bugatanga, maybe it has been influenced by your exposure your level of education. So now I would like to get an experience from your country, Ghana, where chiefs are well recognized by the constitution. Are they well exposed? Are they well educated as you, like you? Because what I believe is that education sometimes do shapes perspective, perception of a person toward different things in life. Thank you.
Alors, bonjour. Joseph Kadouno, je viens de la République de Guinée. Alors, ma première question, elle est pour Son Altesse. Félicitations pour la présentation. Je voudrais savoir, vous avez parlé de votre collaboration avec la police, mais est-ce que traditionnellement, vous avez des endroits où vous pouvez en tout cas priver de liberté vos citoyens qui se rendent coupables de violations, soit de la loi ou bien des droits de la femme? Deuxième question, il est coutume que les chefs religieux soient influencés par les pouvoirs publics. Donc, est-ce qu'au Ghana, c'est le cas? Par exemple, si une personne proche du pouvoir est fautive, est-ce que vous avez le pouvoir d'exercer votre autorité sur elle, pardon. Deuxième question et dernière pour évêque. Que pensez-vous du fait que les femmes catholiques et musulmanes ne peuvent pas diriger la prière? Merci.
Hello, my name is Mary Mwita, and my question is going to be answered by Bishop. Bishop Ken, I want to know, do you have a special desk of solving women matters in your church, and how are you handling the matters? And another one is, at what time your church, as a bishop, can allow divorce? And another one is, I just want to congratulate you when you comment about men. Now in Arusha, we have a case where a woman has cut her husband's private part. So I'm so happy that we can't go without including men. Men are suffering silently. So when we talk about women, we must talk also about men. Thank you so much. Your first question was? Do you have a special desk of solving women matters in your church? And how are you handling the matters, especially pertaining their rights?
Okay, I have a question too. So, good morning. My name is Siwar. I'm from Tunisia, North Africa. My question is for the chief. So, first of all, thank you a lot for your presentation. It's my first time to meet a real chief in my life. We don't have this concept in our country, so I'm so happy, and it's very interesting because, you know, in North Africa, I feel like we are disconnected with the rest of Africa. We don't know the other tradition and culture. So I think the Institute also to give me the opportunity to meet a real chief and to discover the tradition in Ghana and the rest of countries. So my question is about the fact that, what we call it, Bolgatanga, it's right? Okay, it's near to Burkina Faso. So I want to know if you receive like people from Burkina, because I work on migration, so I'm interested to know if you already receive like, I don't know, migrants or people from Burkina to establish in Boltaganda, or it's only received for, how to say, native or people from Boltaga. So, and if it's the case, if you have like specific laws or procedure to protect them? I don't know, maybe receiving a woman from Burkina running violence from Burkina. So if you receiving her and you protect her, or it's not allowed, you only leave like a Ghanaian from this place. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Highness and Bishop.
Last question. Last question. It's not a long one.
I can see many hands. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This means that you have raised very pertinent matters, and I wish this session could be prolonged for perhaps 3 more days. But I'm afraid that we don't have funds for that, unfortunately. But the good news is that, like my friend Stephen, these are also libraries in their areas. So I'm having a problem of limiting them in time. It's like walking on eggs. I'm trying to avoid committing an offense, lèse-majesté, but I'm going to give you 6 minutes each to address these questions. And if there is a question remaining unanswered, we are together. We are together during lunch. And we can continue. Who is going to start? The king has ruled.
Okay, thank you very much. I start with a question asked by my sister there. Is there a variety, maybe collaboration together with Muslims, Christians, other denominations? Yes, we do have it. Here in Tanzania, we have got, in Arusha, first in Arusha, we have 8 bishops in this city, and among them, they call it Ukama. Ukama is Umoja wa Makanisa Arusha. It means church, which a church unity, not Pentecostal. All the churches are coming together, and it has helped us a lot to eliminate these issues from bad traditional customs, which has been tormenting our people. So, but still we have, I don't know how to call it in English, but Maridhiano, we call it Baraza la Maridhiano, which is a national thing. Muslims, senior sheikh, they are there, bishops and pastors. We are coming together even in every issue, not only the gender balance or issues, gender issues, but everything. We thank God our country, yes, there is still other small groups which they don't like to join us, but the big number of the people, they have come together. And the government is supporting us, especially Bakwata, Turkey, CCT. Bakwata is for the Muslims, and it's a Muslim council. Then there is a Turkey, which is Catholic council. And then there is a CCT, which is a Protestant council. And also CPCT, which is Pentecostal council. So we do have that, and we are working on that. We are working with them. And then the second was a comment from my mom there. She said a woman is a mother and a wife. And I agree with her that a woman, when she's in power, she has to know, she has to use authority or power to be a good mother and a good wife. The third question was from the big challenge in our communities, especially in GBV, in church. That's there is a lot of I can say stagnated cases, stagnated in the church. You know, for us in the church, when you come and say, I want to divorce, first sentence I tell you is, God hates divorce. So we don't run for divorce, because most of the divorce, whenever divorce happens, the people suffers the most are children. Women and children, they suffer the most in the divorce. Men, I said I've got 8 children and 4 grandsons, but I can marry today. Yes. I can go for a girl of 20-something years and have another new family. But my wife, it will be very difficult for her. So she will suffer the most, and the children. So we encourage them to not to divorce immediately. But nowadays, before I used to believe that God does not allow divorce. But Jesus didn't say no. He didn't say don't divorce. He didn't say that. Because, you know, our church traditions comes all the way from far. But now as we go, we have seen people are dying in the divorce. I do have in my church, I do have many people remarry again. It was not easy to marry again in Africa, in Tanzania. But nowadays we are getting them. Even me, I've already done it for a few people, especially women. You know, I like women. I love women. I used to cry before when I see women suffering. I didn't know that I'll become a pastor. I used to cry. I remember those times when I was a young boy, went to the bar, drinking something, then someone violated a woman. I stood up, and I was big. I stood up and fought for that. I didn't know that I'll come to become a pastor. But divorce is not something which we run for it immediately. But we are educating our pastors. And we are praying also and helping the other churches like Catholic, who they don't want to divorce. They allow you to go to court, but they don't do that at their church. But what I believe is, my brother said, what God has put together, no one separates it. It is true. It is true that people come together to the church, they feel good, but when they divorce, they don't divorce at the church. But I think if they will divorce from the church and do it a legal paper at the court, their divorce could be good. They will divorce with a good heart while they have already reconciled. We cannot go together, we cannot live together, we have to divorce for our own benefits. Then this, because on the table of the pastor, someone asked if we do have a desk. Yes, we do have it, but not very much because we don't encourage it. When you say there is a desk there, whoever have a problem. Nowadays, we do have a very funny generation. They don't touch me. You see, don't touch me. They can tolerate when they're at their job. If she delayed or someone is employed, he delayed, he can tolerate his boss or her boss. But it is impossible for them to tolerate their husband or their wives. So it's a funny generation. What good? Women. Okay, I think I've answered that. Someone asked, at what time do you allow divorce? I can say we allow divorce when it is no any other option. Thank you.
Good afternoon once again. I have my trusted son who has written down all the questions. I think we should start with the judge, because, and I explain why we should start with the judge. Burkina Faso is from Bolgatanga, 40 miles, you are in Burkina Faso. And I don't know when I would be in Burkina Faso. And I don't know, they have a strict traffic policies. You could easily get caught. I may need to call on the favors of my good brother. So let's start with his question, please.
Okay.
Yes.
His question sought to ask for how to replicate the concept of traditional system of managing these GBVs, among others, within the country and outside of the country within the African region. How can that be replicated?
What his lordship also didn't tell or did not specify in the question is, customarily, we have the same customs. What pretty much takes place in Burkina Faso can easily be found in Ghana, pardon me. So I think, apart from the fact that what we do in Ghana, especially in Bolgatanga, can easily be replicated in Burkina Faso. The king in Ouagadougou, the Moshi king, is someone that we in Bolgatanga defer to. We have a lot of high regard for the king, the Moshi king. So if there was an issue in Bolgatanga regarding GBV, for example, and the fact that our dialect is very similar, we either seek advice from the Moshi community to replicate it. And I think within the chieftaincy system, they can easily do the same as well. Our languages are very, very similar. I hope I've answered the question. Abu, do you want to add something?
Yes, so we also have what we call the houses of chiefs. The houses of chiefs. So every region has a house of chiefs where the chiefs would meet. We have the traditional councils at the very minimal level. As he guided us through the various levels of chiefs, each of them have their councils, and it rises to the regional level and a national level. So what of the African region level? So our suggestion or recommendation is that if there can also be a regional and sub-regional federation of traditional leaders, that would also be helpful. The question number 2 talks about what are the strategies that you have implemented as far as identifying early warning signs of GBV in your traditional area are concerned.
Answer the question, Kenna. Who asked? Do you recollect? Oh, no. Okay. GBV is a funny area. Growing up, it was rampant for me when I was a little kid. Men got drunk mostly and abused anybody. Their wives, their children, strangers. These days, given the fact that I don't roam around, we don't get that. Also, the community initially had a shame component, where as soon as you engage in basically wife beating, they dragged you to the chief, and the community will find out about it. So over time, you are counseled. So these days, is not rampant. And 2, the police in Ghana, especially in Bolgatanga, don't take kindly to GBV. So I won't say it's in our community. In fact, it's that rampant. And the education level as well, between in Bolgatanga and the environs, we don't see it that often. Of course, you get domestic violence. You know, the person gets home and might be in a bad way. But in my experience, I don't see it that often, except maybe in towns, young people might be on tramadol or be on drugs, but to have a type of domestic violence, GBV type, no, not to my experience. But I'm, happy you can contribute something if you want. Yeah. But that's what I know.
No. So I would think that I would submit to your explanation.
Well, unless I don't understand the question, because I tend to look at GBV as when I was a young man, when I was a kid, my grandfather had 50 wives.
Okay.
My dad had 8 wives. I haven't been that fortunate. I've got the one wife. And growing up, I saw a lot of that. As the man comes home, finds a reason to attack the wife. The soup is too cold. The soup is too thick. The soup is too light. Why are we eating the same again every day? Then the neighbors is the same thing. Why hasn't she cooked in time? Then there's a bit of give and take and fighting. I haven't seen that in a long time. Maybe because I live in the palace, maybe they think I might hear and come out and cause something. And they don't bring cases like that as well. I think perhaps, and I'm not being an advocate for the men of Bolgatanga, but I think the men of Bolgatanga have gone past that. What you get is just young kids, but institutionalized degradation or beating up of women just for the sake of it. I don't get that many cases in my court.
The next question her ladyship was asking, in fact, she gave commendations and encouraged us to actually ensure that is done more better and improved. The next question had to do with the fact that in your presentation, you sought to indicate that you begged and sought the leave of our respected justices here, that when it comes to your customary law court,
yes,
you are the final decision maker. And a question is brought before you. Is there an appeal? Is there a form? Can somebody appeal your decision within the justice system of Ghana after you have delivered your verdict?
Most of my cases are cultural, customary centric. They are not criminal cases. They are not in the penal code. They are things to do with the community, the custom. So when it comes to the customary law, I suppose the only way you could put it is I'm the Lord Denning. I make a decision and then we all run with the decision. But if it's something that is not culturally centric to the Frafra people, it's something that is something that you can, I suppose, go to the penal code or go to a different court. Because coming to my court is to mediate, is arbitration. You've got options. But if you're from a different tribe, so let's say you're French, and you come to my court and you're not happy, you can take it to a jurisdiction that also understands the same issue. It's mediation, it's arbitration. But you still have the ability, for example, if it's a property issue, a house has to be sold, your late dad's property, and you come with your family and you want to discuss how to share the property. Of course, would investigate, would speak to the elders, would do a lot of investigations, and then we'll give you our ruling. If you're not happy, you still have the ability to go to the court.
So in short, our customary law tribunals are adjudicatory bodies. So when they pass out a verdict and you are not satisfied, you can go to the High Court to seek redress under our Constitution. Particularly, Article 23 provides for administrative justice. So, where whether it is administrative, formal, institutions or tribunals or committees or commissions, and if you are not satisfied by that, you can seek redress at the High Court. A question comes with respect to the fact that you appear to be highly educated. Are all chiefs highly educated in Ghana?
Yes, all chiefs, most chiefs, in fact, perhaps outside our jurisdiction. But if you travel to some parts, some jurisdictions, we also have highly trained chiefs, doctors, lawyers, accountants. The chieftaincy institution has moved on from the good old days, and every tribe wants their chief to have some level of education to bring development to the community. So sometimes among the princes, you would have, the only thing that could set you apart is perhaps your level of learning that helps you in the process of becoming a chief. So fortunately for Ghana, out of the, let's say, 400 paramount chiefs, for example, just picking a number from my head, 75% would be highly trained professionals. And that was one of the reasons why. If I had the time and the energy and I suppose the brain power, I would have followed my son to become a PhD or JD, and but there's no more energy, so I'll let them come and advise me. But to answer your question, in Ghana, majority of the chiefs are well educated.
The next question has to do with whether or not you have a prison in your tribunal or in your palace, where you detain persons who appear to have broken a customary law, wrong or something.
No, we don't.
The next question.
We're not allowed to. It will be called false imprisonment. We are not mandated to mediate criminal issues. If the criminal issue or if the issue requires incarceration or custody, that is best done by the police, not the chief. The chief, previously chiefs used to detain women they wanted to marry, find an excuse to detain, and within a week or so claim that they've married the woman. But these days, that's called kidnapping. You would be arraigned quicker than you can say boo to the police station. So we don't have prisons. We can't incarcerate anybody. We haven't got any power, any custodial power.
There's a question as to whether a traditional leader can be influenced. If so, if an influential person appears to have committed an offense, what would be your position in getting justice for the victim?
Unfortunately, the traditional leader is a human being. He's a walking blood, reigns, why can't they be influenced? A traditional leader can be influenced. It depends upon the influence. It depends on the amount that they're trying to influence you with. But generally, because of your honor and the ability to be able to have respect within your community, you tend to not be susceptible to bribes. But traditional leaders do get bribed. Traditional leaders do get influenced. And sometimes they make decisions they really shouldn't make because they're human too. I haven't found a price high enough. So for now, I haven't been bribed. But, you know, I'm a human being. I'm available. You can only try and see whether I'll accept or not. But so far, for the good of the good of the community and most of the property involved and the dispute involved, it's not worth being bribed. It's not worth being bribed. Yes, but traditional leaders have been corrupted. Can easily be corrupted, and that occurs.
And the last question has to do with, based on your nearness to Burkina Faso, if displaced persons or persons come into the Bolgatanga area, do they come before you? If they come before you and they are troubled, or, you know, how do you deal with them? How do such persons report themselves before you? If they report themselves before you, how do you manage with them, with also other state parties?
We typically have sub-community chiefs. If you recollect on that level, that list of chiefs we had, where number 1 was Paramount Chief and number 5 was Kambona. So usually, for example, the Guinean community would, if they are substantial enough, will appoint a leader for them. So if somebody is from Guinea, somebody is from Tanzania, if there's a Tanzanian community, we'll appoint a leader for the Tanzanians. So if somebody comes from Tanzania, immediately comes to the chief's house and says, I'm Tanzanian, I arrived yesterday, I don't know where to go and stay, how to feed, we will then get somebody to escort this person to the Tanzanian leader's home. Then they will look after them. So quite similar to the Moshis, the same thing, because we have such synergy. In Ouagadougou, we have Frafres who live in Ouagadougou. So anybody who comes and is in need of, is a Frafra in need of help, they will direct that person to the Frafra community head. But if it's a matter involving the law, let's say a Burkina woman has arrived at the station and she's been raped. That is not something I would be directing to the Burkina community leader's house. I would be saying, let's take this lady to the police station so she can lay her complaint so that they can investigate the matter appropriately and bring the culprits to book. But if it's a social issue, of course, that is why you are the community leader. You are the first port of call. Sometimes the person may not have a community big enough to have a leader. That is a cost you, the chief, will have to bear. You may have to accommodate the stranger. You may have to feed the stranger till the stranger is in a position to keep going to where they're going. And that is one of the reasons why the chiefs, community chiefs, act as NGOs. That's a job we take on.
Yeah, I think that is all the questions. If you have any comment apart from that, that's all.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. One more? Yeah?
I didn't give many testimonies on how I do help women in our society. But I remember one scenario here, and I said if there's someone from Tanzania who can help that, it can be good. I do have a family I'm taking care and helping them in Moshi. They are Indians. This woman, she is married with this man who is he's an Hindu he's an Hinduism. And the lady decided to convert to Christian. But eventually the man started now putting her in home cell for more than 15 years ago, And this woman and two daughters, they are living in bondage. They get my number, they call me, I call them to Arusha, I send them money, I support them for some money, they come here. I talked with them and I told the woman to go back together with his daughters the daughters, they are free because they went to Form 4 and the man rejected to put them in higher school. So they are there for more than 6-7 years now without doing nothing at home. He's giving them a very little food and abusing her all the time. Now I try to help this family, but you can see 3 women coming to my home. I tell the woman, go back, go to the court, go to the police, take this man to the police. They say, oh, go to we call it a Balozi, ambassador 10 houses leader, but he say he's the leader of that area. I say, go to the police. He say, he went to the police, they do nothing. So okay, go to the court. But these girls, the one is 23rd, I think the other is 24th or 3rd. They are grown-up children, young women, and I offer them, I tell them, if you come to Arusha, I will put you in my home for some times. I can connect you with my daughter, Delight, and others, so they can live together. I promise to support them with the houses and even to look for a job and even to put them back to school. But they're still struggling to come out from that bondage. So if someone is here in Arusha or Moshi, I say, I'm a church person, they come against me. There's a bishop has stolen someone's wife and the children. But if you are here, you can help me. I'll give you the details and so that we may help this family. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are running out of time, and lunch is ready. It was ready an hour ago. So I think we have, before we miss it, we will take 45 minutes. Can we? 45 minutes, so that we come to proceed with